Imagine a neighborhood in Long Beach with no through traffic, where the streets are wide enough for a game of catch, where the lots are double the standard size, some reaching 10,000 square feet, where you can't hear the roar of Pacific Coast Highway. You're probably thinking I'm talking about a suburb in Orange County. I'm not. I'm talking about the secret side of Long Beach. These pockets exist. They are hidden behind golf courses, tucked behind universities, and disguised by confusing names. Most buyers drive right past them to get the famous spots. But today, we're stopping the car. Welcome to the Hidden 5. I'm Rick Lee with Road Broker. My team and I are on the ground here every day, so we see real-time trends the algorithms miss. If you want to find your own hidden gem in this market, all of my info is on the screen and in the description below. Before we name the first spot, we have to talk about the postcard trap. Everyone falls in love with the idea of living on the water. Naples, the peninsula, Belmont Shore, it looks great on Instagram, but living inside a postcard is exhausting. You have zero privacy, you have tourist parking in front of your driveway, and you are constantly on display. The neighborhoods we are looking at today are the antidote. They are the sanctuary. They're close enough to enjoy the postcard view, but far enough away that you can actually relax. And the first sanctuary is right near the water, but hidden just out of sight. Alamitos Heights, smart money. Let's start with the neighborhood that solves the Naples problem. If you know Long Beach, you know Naples Island is the gold standard. But in Naples, you're paying over $2 million for a tiny lot, zero parking, and neighbors who are close enough to hear you sneeze. But just north of there, literally across the street from the golf course, you have Alamitos Heights. This is the smart money alternative. You're still walking distance to the water. You have the Colorado Lagoon, which the city just poured millions of dollars into restoring, essentially acting as your private community pool. You have Marine Stadium right there for rowing, water skiing, and summer concerts. But because you aren't on the island, you get a massive discount. Let's talk numbers, because the math here is undeniable. In Naples, you're paying over $1,200 a square foot. In Alamitos Heights, you're paying roughly 30% less. And here's the kicker, the topography. Long Beach is mostly flat, but Alamitos Heights sits on a distinct rise, one of the few hills in the city. This matters for two reasons. First, the drainage and the airflow are superior. Second, the lots are terraced. We are talking actual driveways, two-car garages, backyards big enough for a pool, and a garden. The history here is deep. This area was developed later than the tight beach cottages of the 1920s. It was built for executives who wanted proximity to the oil fields on Signal Hill, but demanded more space. That executive feel is still here today. On streets like Orleana or Flint, you feel the sense of width and privacy you cannot find on the peninsula. You get the water lifestyle without the water price, or the tourist looking into your window. Now, looking at recent data, prices here have remained incredibly resilient. The median price is hovering between 1.3 and 1.6 million. While other coastal areas saw some volatility last year, Alamitos Heights stayed steady. Why? Because people buy here to stay for 30 years. Inventory is extremely tight. Over the last 6 months, we saw multiple months where only 1 or 2 homes were available. If you see something coming up here under 1.4 million, it's gonna move fast. Who is this not for? If you're looking for a walkable nightlife right outside your door, this might not be it. You can walk to the water, yes, but to get to restaurants on 2nd Street, it's a long walk, a bike ride, or a short Uber. This is a quiet, hilly enclave. It's for people who want to be near the action, not in the action. Next, we have a neighborhood that is hidden because of a branding mistake. We're talking about Lakewood Village. Now, stick with me. When you hear Lakewood, you think of 1950s mass-produced tract homes. You think of 17,000 houses that all look exactly the same. So, most luxury buyers skip this neighborhood entirely, but they are wrong. Lakewood Village is not the city of Lakewood. It is 100% Long Beach. The zip code is 90808, and the history here is fascinating. This area was developed before the mass tract housing boom. Originally, this land was zoned for the country club lifestyle, living near the Lakewood golf course. Because of the early zoning, the developers were never allowed to squeeze those tight 5,000 square foot tract lots. Instead, they had to build on 7,000, 8,000, and sometimes 10,000 square foot parcels. The key word here is custom. Unlike tract homes surrounding it, the village has no 2 homes that look alike. You can drive down Harvey Way and see a 1930s Spanish revival next to a 1950s sprawling ranch next to a brand new 3,000 square foot modern farmhouse. If you're a car enthusiast or have an RV, this is your paradise. These streets are wider, the driveways are deeper, and the garages are often detached and in the rear, giving you endless options for workshops or ADUs. For a long time, the village was quiet and a bit sleepy. That changed completely with the development of the Long Beach Exchange. Suddenly, the historic neighborhood is walking distance to Whole Foods, Orange Theory Fitness, the Hangar Food Hall, and high-end dining like the 908. You have the old world charm of custom estates with new world amenities across the street. Here is the financial opportunity. Throughout 2025, this neighborhood became the best value buy in the city. We actually saw price dips about 10% compared to the peak. The median price right now is around $985,000 to $1.05 million. Why is this good for you? Because interest rates cooled off the buyer pool for these larger, older homes. They might need renovation. You are getting into a custom home neighborhood for track home prices. Inventory is low, usually only about 7 to 14 homes sell here per month, but homes are sitting in about 50 days. That gives you leverage. You can ask for repairs and you can ask for rate buydowns. Who is this not for? If you want a turnkey, low maintenance life, be careful. Many of these homes are 70 to 80 years old. They're custom. That means old plumbing, unique roof lines, and maintenance. If you want a cookie cutter box that never breaks, go to the suburbs. If you want character and land, you come here. The Plaza, the time capsule. If you want that classic 1950s TV show vibe, think Leave It to Beaver or Mayberry, you go here. Most of Long Beach is urban. It's busy, it's loud, but this neighborhood is a time capsule. This is the Plaza. If you ask a local where the Plaza is, they point east. Specifically, we're talking about the area bordered by Spring Street, Palo Verde, and Studebaker. The first thing you notice are the trees. The Plaza is famous for its mature urban forest. In the spring, the jacaranda trees turn the streets purple. In the fall, the liquid ambers turn them gold. Driving down Monogram or Studebaker just feels different than the rest of the city. But the reason it is on my hidden list isn't just the trees, it's the park access. The Plaza sits directly adjacent to El Dorado Park. If you're not familiar with El Dorado, you need to understand the scale of it. This isn't just a playground with a slide. This is 800 acres of nature. We are talking about fishing lakes, an Olympic archery range, and a nature center with hiking trails. Bike paths that connect you all the way to the beach. Living in the Plaza means El Dorado Park is your backyard. Most people drive 20 minutes to get here on the weekends. You just open your back gate. It connects directly to the San Gabriel River bike path, which means you could ride your bike from your driveway to Seal Beach or down to Naples without ever crossing a major street. This has the strongest small town vibe in the city. The streets come alive every morning with the walk to Cubberley or Milliken High. It feels settled, feels established, and honestly, it's the kind of place where your neighbors actually bring you a pie when you move in. This is the stable anchor of the Long Beach market. The data shows consistency. The median sales price is just under $1 million, currently hovering around $950,000. It is one of the few areas in Long Beach where you can get a detached single-family home on a good lot for under 7 figures. Who is this not for? Commuters to Santa Monica or downtown LA. While the freeway access here is amazing, you are sitting next to the 405 and 605. You're starting from the far east edge of the map. That means to get to Santa Monica, you have to drive the entire length of the 405 traffic jam. This neighborhood is best fit for people working in Orange County, Long Beach, or remote workers. College estates, flight to quality. Let's move fast to number 4. This is the Silent Seekers. Usually living near the university means parties, red Solo cups, and noise. But this next spot is the exact opposite. This is College Estates. This pocket is designed so you cannot cut through it. There is zero through traffic. It is tucked behind Cal State Long Beach and borders the flood control channel. If a car is driving down your street, it's because they live there or they're visiting you. Real estate nerds, listen up. Most of the plaza was built by various developers in the early 1950s, but College Estates was largely built by S&S Construction. Why does that matter? S&S was known for its quality. While other developers were using cheaper drywall, S&S was using lath and plaster in many of their homes. They built slightly larger models, often 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. They utilized better floor plans and primary bedrooms with ensuite baths, which wasn't standard in the 1950s. The bones of these houses are just better. The history here is the symbolic relationship with the university. You are a short bike ride to the Earl Burns Miller Japanese Garden, which is a stunning sanctuary right on campus. You were close to the Carpenters Performing Arts Center. You were close enough to the Pyramid to watch a basketball game. It feels like living in a college town, but the professor side of the college town, not the frat house side. Why the data here tells a very interesting story. Why the broader 90815 zip code saw prices flatten or dip slightly, this specific neighborhood bucked the trend. We saw S&S homes in College Estates trading significantly higher than the average. Recent sales have closed between 1.2 million and 1.5 million. This is a flight to quality. Buyers are realizing that these S&S build homes have better layouts and they are willing to pay a premium premium for it, even when the rest of the market is cooling. Who is this not for? First time buyers on a tight budget. The price points here have jumped. You're paying for the SNS brand and the location. And if you're stretching to get into the neighborhood, you might be better looking at the Plaza or parts of Los Altos. La Marina Estates, the preservationist. And finally, the one I told you to wait for, the neighborhood that even the locals miss. I call this one, if you know neighborhood. Welcome to La Marina Estates. La Marina is a tiny pocket. It is tucked between PCH, the San Gabriel River, and the university. Its geography, it's isolated. There's essentially one way in and one way out for most traffic. Unless you live here, you have zero reason to turn down these streets. I've had clients who lived in Long Beach their entire lives, and they didn't know this neighborhood existed until I drove them through it. So why is it special? Most people think Park Estates is the only place to get a custom home on a big lot, but La Marina is the hidden rival. The lots here are massive, often 8,000, 9,000, or even 10,000 square feet. The streets are wider than the standard city streets. The setbacks are deeper, meaning the houses sit further back from the sidewalk, giving everyone a grander, more private feel. It has the prestige of Bixby Knolls, but with one major advantage: the microclimate. Because you are right next to the river channel and just a mile or so from the ocean, you get that constant ocean breeze that cools things down. Bixby Knolls, which is further inland, can be 5 to 10 degrees hotter in the summer. In La Marina, you can often leave your windows open and let the channel breeze cool your house naturally. La Marina is unique in inventory, and the prices reflect that. Based on a few sales we saw in 2025, you're looking at a median price range of 1.2 to 1.6 million, with fully renovated estates pushing even higher. But the inventory story here is unique because the neighborhood is small. We go through droughts where nothing is for sale, and suddenly 2 or 3 homes will pop up at once. This creates a scarcity mindset among buyers. When a La Marina home hits the market, the neighbors usually text their friends immediately. Who are these not for? People who want new construction. These are 1950 ranches. They are long, low, and cool. If you want a 2-story McMansion, you likely won't find it here. And the architectural integrity is highly valued here. This is for the preservationist, the person who wants a forever home with character. Long Beach is a big city. It's diverse, it's complex, and it's easy to get lost in the noise of the famous spots. But the recent data is clear. Homes in these 5 hidden pockets, Alamitos Heights, the Plaza, Lakewood Village, College Estates, and La Marina, they have held their value better during the downturns than the high traffic tourist areas. Why? Because they offer what everybody eventually wants: space, peace, and community. But as I mentioned, inventory in La Marina and the Village is incredibly low right now. I have a list of off-market opportunities coming soon for these specific neighborhoods. If you want to see what is actually available before it hits Zillow, or if you just want to know if you can afford to trade up into one of these spots, send me a text at the number on the screen. And now that you know the hidden secrets inside Long Beach, you might be wondering how we stack up against the rest of Los Angeles. You love the vibe of Santa Monica or Highland Park, but hate the price tag? You need to see my LA Twins breakdown. I show you exactly which Long Beach neighborhoods are the spiritual twins of LA's most famous spots, often for half the price. You can check out the video right here, and I'll see you over there.